Sure, sure. And this is a great segue because we just talked about the offense. You started off talking about the defense. So in 2019, that year we made it to the Super Bowl. It was really the defense that was carrying the team. And, the offense had its moments, but it was really more defense first. And then the offense kind of didn't get in the way of the win, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of rumbles right now with the running game being the way that it is, Trey Lance possibly being a starter, even Jimmy Garoppolo being healthy for the whole season. We have the two weapons on the outside in Ayuk and Debo. Obviously, Kittle is back there healthy. Sherfield is looking great. Sanu is looking great. So it looks like we're going to have, four or five legitimate pass catching options, especially with the running backs coming out of the backfield as well. Is this season going to be dominated or carried by the offense or the defense? What do you say, Nick?
Oh, man. It's been the defense 2 years in a row. Where would the 49ers have been last year without the defense? They wouldn't have been in the games that they were in. I always go back to the game against the Eagles, the game against the Washington football team, the Cowboys, they gave up a lot of points, so that's not the best example. But there was time, I said the Washington football team already, but that last game against Seattle towards the end of the year, the game against Arizona, the defense has carried this team the last 2 years. But the reality is they're going from Robert Saleh to DeMeco Ryans. He's going to have his own wrinkles all over this defense. So whenever there's a transition between defensive coordinators, I tend to give a pause. But I think just given the personnel of the defense, who's there, it's loaded, it's deep. I think the defense has the best chance to carry this team, especially if Jimmy Garoppolo starts the season. And the reason I say that is because I'm pretty confident right now that Trey Lance can do everything that Jimmy Garoppolo can do. Yes, he hasn't gone through the ringer just yet. He doesn't understand all the nuances because he hasn't been thrown into the fire. He hasn't taken the live bullets yet. I get all of that. But I do think Garoppolo holds back the offense a little bit, just a tad. And that's why I'm leaning defense. It's tough to say. It's really a tough call right now. But to answer your question, if I had to put money on it, who's going to keep this team together and really just push them above and beyond, I would say the defense. And then when Trey Lance comes in, I can really see him having like that Colin Kaepernick effect where it's just like the offense just takes off and it goes from this dink and dump, similarly how it was with Alex Smith with very few big plays to just this. So, and not to say the 49ers have had a lot of explosive plays over the last years with Garoppolo, with the run game, but I just think this offense can just zoom with Trey Lance. But knowing that's likely not going to be it to begin the year, I'm going to go defense.
That's a great argument to have. However, I'm going to disagree, man. I think that we haven't seen Kyle Shanahan's full playbook. Mm-hmm. And we've really seen him gear his offense towards a quarterback who he knows is questionable with his decision-making, and also a quarterback that he knows struggles to throw the ball deep. And Trey doesn't have those issues, right? He is a very good decision maker and has a very strong arm. Now, is that saying Trey Lance is going to be a perfect quarterback? Absolutely not. I mean, if we're being honest, there's a lot of mistakes he's making in training camp, namely with the ball, a lot of fumble issues, things like that. But still, the dynamic that he gives you and the tools that he has, I think we're going to see a different playbook from Shanahan. And it's going to be able to kind of wow people into where I don't think we'll be like the Kansas City Chiefs where we're just throwing the ball all over the place. And I don't expect Trey Lance to ever have like 50 touchdowns in a season. But I think with that mixture of the run and pass option, I think that the offense is going to be able to dictate games because they're going to be able to control the ball. They're going to be able to control how much the team that they play against gets the ball on offense. And for me, I think that's going to just make it more where the offense is carrying this team, not because the defense is bad, but more because they're just going to have the ball a lot more because they have so many horses that could run. Because you could even add Ayuk and Debo into the running game as well, even Kittle, right? So they're going to just be pounding the ball I think the 49ers are just have so much possession that is going to just lead to them carrying the games.
Definitely. And again, I think it's pretty even. It's not like one unit is that much better than the other. They're both above average units. I firmly believe that. And it's just a matter of time until it's proven that this offense is going to be better than it was last year. The defense still ranked so high considering all the injuries. But like I talked about, the transition going from Robert Saleh to DeMeco Ryans is going to be a fun one. And we'll see. I hear that he's going to be sending a lot more blitzes, a lot more blitzing from that nickel spot. I love when K'Wan Williams does that, a lot more blitzing from Fred Warner. So it's going to be exciting. And yeah, like I said, you can't have a strong arguments could be made both sides just because both units are so good.
Right. So Raymond Martinez has a really good question. Nick, you could take this one. Who makes Kyle's job easier, Trey or Jimmy? Maybe that's the ultimate deciding factor. Great point, Raymond.
I think the who's going to make Kyle's job easier is Trey Lance. I really do think so, because you have this whole other element of being able to throw in all these read options and when to keep the ball, when to hand the ball off. You can't do that with Jimmy Garoppolo. Kyle Shanahan did it with C.J. Beathard in the Arizona game. C.J. Beathard. And C.J. Beathard is an athletic guy. By no means am I disrespecting C.J. Beathard's ability to move, but it's like, come on. Right. I know Kyle Shanahan wants to have a mobile quarterback so bad. So bad. He's handcuffed by Jimmy Garoppolo. There's only so much that he can do. And Shanahan does a good job of calling plays to his strengths. To me, a lot of the time, it's just mental lapses from Garoppolo. That's his worst enemy right now. It's just his own head and him having these lapses and bad judgment. So I do think that Trey Lance can be the one to help Kyle Shanahan out the most. I don't think, and I'm really, after seeing Trey Lance twice now in person, and I can't wait for everybody to see him on Saturday night, against the Chiefs. Everybody's going to find out so quickly he can do every single thing that Jimmy Garoppolo can do right now, this very moment, and a hell of a lot more. And that's not to say I don't want Garoppolo on the roster. That's not the case whatsoever. Sunil, you and I have had these conversations. I had this same conversation over and over. I just think you're so much better off with the two quarterbacks, just in case a situation like last year happens. And it's sucks talking about injuries. No one wants to talk about injuries, but the reality is it's the NFL. It just takes that one hit if Trey Lance is starting for you to be one play away from Nate Sudfeld or Josh Rosen. If you were to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't like that. I'd rather have Jimmy Garoppolo behind him, and who knows if it's going to play out that way. But I think the 49ers are sitting pretty right now, having two competent quarterbacks on the roster for sure. It's a huge luxury,
Amin, the dream. What's up, Sunil and Nick? Congrats, Nick, on your podcast. You definitely got a stud on the show.
Hey, I appreciate that. Amin was one of the first people to text me after I made my announcement. So, Amin, my guy, I appreciate you.